Welcome back, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great start to the week. Today is going to be brief. Why? Because we've already got the levels set up for you. And I'm just quickly going to run through the thought process so that we can understand how we're playing it this week. All right. So we're going to start, let's start with some top down analysis. There is a lot to talk about in here. All right. But we're going to start with some top down analysis. And we're also going to talk about the setup that was given last week. Let's see how well it did, if it did well at all. So first things first, big shout out to everyone who's followed recently. Shout out to you guys. You all know who you are. Welcome to the family, and I hope you find the information useful. If you do, don't forget to hit follow, hit the boost. Find us on YouTube, find us on Discord in the signature. All right, so as of the last stream, we had a range, didn't we? We had a massive range. We had this 1 hour supply that was close to our range high. And we said to ourselves, well, this kind of indecision is indicative of price not knowing what to do. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? All right, that's what a range is. So therefore, we get ready for the longs and we get ready for the shorts whenever we see a range, because ranges tend to oscillate. They oscillate from range high to range low, or range low to range high. So why not capitalize if you know exactly what's going to happen in a range? Now, we also said we're looking for this continuation long from this 1 hour zone here. Now, this 1 hour zone, price did come to this 1 hour zone, as we can see. Price rallied down to this 1 hour zone. No, here it is. It came down to this 1 hour zone here. If you extend this over, it came here. We got a decent trade off of it, all right, but not the best trade in my opinion. And then price came back down, which we wouldn't really like to see. We would like to see more continuation after reacting off that 1 hour zone, but we didn't. So here we are now. Obviously, price came further down. Price probably came down to get something trapped in here, perhaps. All right, and we can look at that. I doubt we're going to have time to look at that, but it's worth investigating. Why did price stop here? Obviously, we know it's simply a continuation, which we'll talk about in a sec. All right, and now price seems to be getting some sort of change or flip before we hit the range high. So let's go straight into the price action. We're going to talk about those levels and in a moment, but before we do so, it's important to keep perspective. And what do I mean by keep perspective? Well, keep perspective by going to the higher time frames and understanding what's happened. So we have our monthly market structure. We've broken out of the range. We had this consolidation range that we had for ages. We've broken out of it, and on the monthly, this is actually quite dangerous. The reason this is dangerous, the reason this is, I've just seen this just now, but the reason this is dangerous on the monthly, and I'm sure a lot of you would not like to hear this, but your monthly structure looks like this: higher high, higher low. This is not valid. Yes, it's a continuation range, but this is your next structure point, which suggests on the monthly, all right, if price did want to retrace, it can come back down. Now, failing it bouncing from here, it actually is allowed to come back down all the way down here before it continues on. All right, so this is a possibility on the monthly. All right, and that's coming back down to about 30K. All right, I don't want to, blow any alarms, but on the monthly, that's what we see. Now, anyways, so moving on. On the monthly, yes, we've broken out of this range. On the daily, yes, this becomes a valid pool now. On the daily, this is a valid range, as we can see. It's valid. On the monthly, it wasn't. Now, on the daily, it's valid, but we are still due a retracement. Now, this retracement could still come all the way down. In this, it could still come down inside this box, honestly. All right, before it carries on up. So we have to be cautious, and we have to prepare for that. And we are prepared for that. Why? Because we already have our levels for our continuation longs if we do get a deeper retracement. All right. But if we get a deeper retracement, be careful. You have to wait for a flip in the opposite direction. Why? Because to get a retracement, for price to come all the way down here now for this retracement, be it a retracement from here, be it a retracement from here, or be it a retracement from this guy. If price wants to come all the way down here, well, what's going to happen? How are we going to get from up here to down here? Market structure is going to flip. So before we enter any of these longs, we have to see that flip happen again in the opposite direction. So those are the levels. Now these levels, I'll quickly read out the coordinates for you. We've got 84657 for that one. You've got 82333 for that one. And for this one, you have 79127. And then for this one, you have 75280. Okay? So for those of you who don't know how to draw supply and demand, those are the coordinates. Now, as we zoom in, we start to see, okay, what has Bitcoin been up to? Remember, we talked about, the fact that Bitcoin kind of is starting to resemble gold, isn't it? The way gold broke out of its all-time highs. And luckily enough, we have gold right here. This is the gold chart. So I'll just show you guys quickly. This is what gold did when it broke out of that crazy range. This was the range. Was this the range? Yes. So this was the range. Gold was in this range for a very long time. Now, Bitcoin was in this range for about maybe 240 days ish. Gold was in this range for 1,302 days. Crazy range. All right. What did that mean? That meant when it broke, it broke. When it broke structure, it was not waiting for anyone. The bull said, I'm going, I'm gone. And this is very, decisive break. Now, are we in this phase when it comes to what Bitcoin is doing right now? Bitcoin just had that impulse up. Are we in this consolidation phase before we get another impulse up? Or are we going to get that impulse down? That's what millions of traders are waiting to see. All right. But in the meantime, what we can see here is we are getting a nice little bearish action, which I'm not really happy about because I'm in a long at the moment. That's why. All right, so how are we going to play this one? Well, let's fast forward. This is very easy because we've been here before. We know what to do when we see range high, range low. All right. So as of our last stream, we're just going to quickly talk you through how we could have viewed that price action. All right. So, well, okay, I'm not going to mention this because it's not very useful right now. But we had this 1 hour demand zone, and we said, okay, price looks to be giving us a nice uptrend from this range low, creating higher highs and high lows, high high. So there's a very high chance we create a high low for another high high, and that's exactly what we did. But that's half the job. The second half is deciding where are you going to enter that trade from. Is your confirmation going to be valid? So we waited for this zone to see if we got a confirmation. Boom. So we did get a confirmation. Oops. So we did get a confirmation, and that confirmation took place. That confirmation actually took place here. So if we look at the structure here, we have from the way down, from here, we've got, low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low. So on the 1 hour, not real market structure to act on. But as you come further down, okay, if we look at this expansion leg, all right, now let's say you drop down to the 15-minute, that's a good time frame to trade from. We can see that on the 15-minute, we have our structure looking like this. Low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low. We get that flip in market structure. But the most annoying thing happens. Bitcoin does not give us a retracement for continuation. This is what we were expecting. But we did not get that. Instead, Bitcoin decided to break structure again like this. Well, not necessarily a break, but it definitely decided to take out these longs. So those who longed here, yeah, you're just gonna have to hold that L, to be honest, if you long there, because you did get the flipping structure, but the retracement didn't hold. So I guess if you entered just based off of the flip, then yeah, you took an L. All right, but if you waited for that retracement, we didn't get a reconfirmation here, so you would have not entered that trade. Why? Because on this leg down is simply bearish. Okay, you have had no indication that price is about to flip, so no real reason to enter a trade there. Okay, but if you just entered based on the break, yeah, you took L on that one, and that's okay. It happens. But the idea was still correct. Why? Because price simply just still did high, 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 low, high, high for a deeper high, low before it tried to make another high, high. Okay, so that's what price did. All right, so we're just breaking down the price action step by step to show you how you might want to look at these markets. Now, this is not the only way to trade, but in my opinion, it's probably one of the best ways to trade, especially if you're new to trading. Now, you have people who are successful who use indicators, people who are successful who use various tools, who use just moving averages. You have people who use what else is out there? Flow charts and whatever they use. But so many methods. There's an infinite amount of methods trading. I think nothing beats raw organic market structure. All right. So now what we've got here is we have a nice curved liquidity. Remember what we say about liquidity? They tend to get a run, and guess what happens after we get a flipping market structure here? Bang! Aggressive run up, taking out these shorts and these shorts and these shorts. All right, nice, juicy play. But that then brought us up to our range high. We're headed towards this range high. Okay, but before we get to the range high, we have this 1 hour supply zone in the way. This is the only obstacle. It's the only thing stopping Bitcoin from touching that range high. So it makes sense to look for a trade there. And did we get a trade there? Yes, we did. Now, it's a tricky one because we got a trade there, but we did not really get a confirmation. Why? Because if you're looking to short this, you need to get a confirmation. Your confirmation would have looked something like this. You need to at least lose this level first, yeah, before you broke structure for a retracement. Now, some would argue that, yes, we did get that flipping structure here, that retracement here for that continuation. Some would argue yes, all right, but, are you really going to look to enter a short trade down here to put your stop loss up here just to target maybe down here or down here? All right, 1.6. Is it worth it? I don't think so. All right, so what we have here then is that price broke structure. And even though price broke structure bearishly, it then gave us, another attempt at this high. Okay, it gave us another attempt at this high. It wasn't able to close above this high. So again, it's showing us weakness at this high. This 1 hour supply is doing its thing. This 1 hour supply is creating a real barrier to entry. Okay, creating a real barrier, and that's fine. Why? Because now we're going to realize this is a range, this is a valid range, and we're going to treat it as a range. And what do we do at our ranges? We look for range high, range low. It's obvious. All right. Not only that, we're also going to look for potential Trinity models at play, whereby you have, if this is a Trinity model, you're going to have tap number one, tap number two, that trades successively higher than the prior tap. And then maybe a tap number three up there that again trades successfully higher than the prior tap. Now, the most juicy thing in my opinion is if we get tap number three taking out this high, but also taking out that range high. That will be a very nice trade. That could be the trade of the week. That could be the trade of the week if price is to come back up for this range high, in my opinion. All right, and that's one I will probably hold that one. And if I held that, I'm gonna hold that to at least here. To at least this, basically to range low. Okay, so that's our setup number 1 and 2, range high, range low deviation, classic, nothing special. Now we also have our external range because yes, this is an internal range, but we have a massive range here, and then we have an internal range. So we have a range that is inside another range. So we call this overlapping ranges. All right. And in that case, we're still looking for our longs and shorts at the range highs and the range lows. Okay. Now, it's worth mentioning that we do have this juicy, in my opinion, trend line of liquidity where it's been respected a few times. Price respected it here, number one. It respected it here, number two. It respected it here, number three. All right. So you won't have been able to draw this trend line until you saw tap one and tap two, which meant you could have used this trend line to justify this entry here on tap three. Okay. And trend lines are very, very useful in trading. Now, trend lines are very similar to ranges, they're just diagonal. In my opinion, trend lines are just diagonal ranges. Here we have our horizontal range, all right? But here we have a diagonal range, okay? It's kind of the same thing, okay? All right, but what's going to happen if we start closing below this trend line? Well, if we start closing below this trend line, I'm going to look for a retest potentially, and then I'm going to short that down at least to the range low, okay? and potentially to this 45-minute demand over here. So that's how I'm looking to play that. So obviously it hasn't happened yet, so I can't really give direct setups for it. But that's definitely something to keep in mind using this trend line. Now there is a chance we simply come back to this trend line and get another bounce. So in that case, why not extend the trend line? Okay, so let's extend it. And we can also see here that Bitcoin is the only thing stopping it from reaching this internal range low, okay, which is also Monday's lowest level traded, um, is this zone here. I think this is a 10-minute zone, but let me double check. No, that 10-minute zone has been mitigated, so that won't cut it. Let's go 15 minutes. 30 minutes. 45 minutes. Nope. 12 minutes. Nope. 10 minutes. No, we've already done 10 minutes. 5 minute. Oh, yeah, we'll take it on the 5 minute though. Yeah. We'll take it on the 5 minute. So that means we've got this zone here on the 5 minute. And look, that's exactly where price has reacted from. Price has just reacted from this 5 minute zone. Okay, we did have another 15-minute zone in there. That was in here somewhere. I think it was in here. But price didn't quite react. We got a tiny reaction, but it flushed through it. It pierced it. It penetrated it. But we are getting a reaction of this 5. This is the only thing stopping Bitcoin from reaching this range low, all right? And obviously, I'm looking for a long at that range low. So it's time to look at the charts. How am I going to justify an entry here? Well, it's straightforward. I'm going to justify an entry if I get a flip in market structure. If price starts to do this, if it comes down here, maybe this doesn't comes down here one more time, maybe dips into it, flip structure, I'm in that long right there. All right. I would even prefer it if it taps this green line. That would be preferable. But that's how I'm looking to play that. Now, question beckons. Could you have entered a short here? Could you? Who shorted this? I'm sure someone shorted this. Who shorted this? Now, there are two types of people here looking to trade that point. There are people who traded using market structure and people who traded using market cipher. In my opinion, one of the best indicators in the world. Now, people who traded using market structure were gutted there because they didn't really get a confirmation here. Because they were looking to short this level based off of the sweep of this high. But to justify it, they need to wait for a confirmation, a flip in market structure. But the structure on the way up, it wasn't given. It was simply higher high, higher low, higher high. So we needed to lose this level first to justify a trade. So I guess now you can look to enter that short. If you get a retracement maybe up to there, now you can look to enter that short. But because you didn't get that, you didn't catch it from here. All right. However, the guys using market cipher, all right, they're laughing at the moment. If they're using purely market cipher, which I wouldn't always recommend, but it's still a great indicator. You can see on market cipher that we did get a nice bullish divergence. Sorry, nice bearish divergence. And that looks like this. Price is creating higher highs. Our momentum indicator is creating lower lows. Our money flow is getting lower. What does that mean? That means we're coming down. Okay, and look at that. You would have caught that flush. And that's looking at least a 3x, I think, on that one. Okay, but I won't go into that because of time. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the charts at the moment. I'm looking for these potential levels. I also realize that, hey, if the trade is not there, it's not there. Don't have to force it. I think as a beginner trader, there's a tendency to always be in the market. There's a tendency to always want to be entering a trade. You open your laptop and you want to, get in. But, I would strongly recommend you try and get over that mentality because that is a very limiting mental framework. Why? Because even if you miss a trade, there's going to be more trades. There's going to be multiple trades in a day. Like, if you just look at this bit of price action, just this tiny bit of price action, I'm sure there's about 20 trades in there based on different strategies. 20 trades in there. Because what? Everything we're talking about on a higher time frame, it's also, it still holds on a lower time frame. Okay? So don't beat yourself up if you lose a trade. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't catch the bottom. See, can I follow the trade? Can I enter on a successive leg, and catch the momentum? All right, so that's what I'm looking out for now. Oof, what's Bitcoin doing? Let's not force it. Let's not force it. I believe that's enough. maybe you might want to enter this continuation short. Yeah, thank you. You might want to enter this continuation short if it presents itself, because on the 10 minute, the reason no, yeah, that's not force it. That's not force it. I mean, there's a potential short there, um, but I'll just be hesitant there because you're in a range within another range. Price is breaking structure bullishly, bearishly. You're not quite sure what's going to happen next. So just wait and see. Wait and see. All right. So I do not. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention. We've talked about these levels for the deeper retracement. That's fine. Um, okay, there are a few other things. Now, if price does say I'm going to break out of this range, well, look to enter that retracement there. Get that bang. Get that retracement. Now, if price says I'm going to retrace downwards, I'm going to break downwards, well, look to enter the retracement on the way down. But be careful, why? Because we have this 45-minute zone. Because we have this 45-minute zone, be careful to long this, especially be careful to enter it here. Because this long trade here, all right, let's say we enter this long trade here, it could simply just be, with all our confirmations, just to create this lower high before we fully flush down. Okay? So that's kind of what you need to be aware of, especially because you have that zone there. All right. So that's it. I'm not going to force it because I actually know that, because I'm not spending too much time on a chart today and tomorrow. I just want to get the best plays. Start the week off with a nice play, and you're good. All right. Now, I don't usually do this, but I've been doing some research. Now, if you are a bull cycle Bitcoin believer and you think it's begun and you think this is it, bearing in mind I just showed you something pivotal on the monthly chart, which shouldn't be ignored. But if you are a big believer that yes, this was a range, and yes, this was also a range, and it's kickstarted our bull market, and we're going to head up and continually head up, and we're going to do this bang, 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 maybe come up here and then bang, yeah. If you're a believer that's going to happen, well, should you be buying Bitcoin now? I would not. I would not be buying Bitcoin now. Why? Because Bitcoin has done its thing. Bitcoin has done its thing. Now, if you are to buy Bitcoin here, let's say you buy Bitcoin and you long it from here, just with the hopes of going up there, what's your risk to reward here? What is your risk to reward? Now, let's say you cover this low. All right, you're looking at 1x. All right, but let's say you cover these. Okay, maybe an optimal level, maybe if you're trading it, yes. If you're trading it, maybe it's worth considering, definitely. If you're a position trader, a long-term trader, but if you're buying on spot, Bitcoin's it's not the one. It's really not the one. What you want to do is you want to go for some lower cap altcoins. Now, I don't usually talk about altcoins because there are billions of YouTubers doing that already. I'm doing that for you guys. But it's not a bad time to look at the altcoins because there are some altcoins that are still hibernating. They're still dead. All right, they're chilling. And I'm going to run through. Maybe I'll give you about three. I'll give you three altcoins that I've got my eye on. And I've bought a decent stack of those altcoins already. All right. But understand that I am doing this on the following assumptions. Now, any one of these assumptions could be wrong. First assumption is that bull cycle has begun. Yeah, this is how I'm thinking about it. The second assumption is that not only has the bull cycle begun, the second assumption is that what has happened in the past will happen again, where if Bitcoin tests its all-time high during the bull cycle, um, ultimately the altcoins will test their all-time highs as well. Okay, so first things first, bull market's begun. Second, um, altcoins as well as Bitcoins are gonna test their all-time highs. Okay, and the third assumption is that there's not going to be any monumental market event or life event that crashes the crypto market. It's similar to what COVID did. So now, if all these three assumptions are true, yeah, then we're in a good position to make some decisions on the following coins. Now, there are some ancillary assumptions we have to make for each one of these, okay? And one of those ancillary assumptions is that if you are to pick an altcoin, yeah, let's say you pick your altcoin. If you pick your altcoin and, it so happens that during this bear market that we've had, the team of the team of the project has changed. The project is a bit void at the moment. There's not much work being done. All right, so this is why you have to do a lot of research to your respective altcoins to see if it's viable. But if that assumption also holds, and everything is held constant in the sense that yes, it's still a valid project, well then look at these three coins. Coin number one. Now, this is probably the last time I would do this, probably before the end of the year. But coin number one is Crow. Crow USDT. Now, this made me a stupid amount, maybe about 70, 80 grand in 2021. So not bad, not bad, not bad. 70, 80 grand from roughly around, I think I put about 3 grand in. Okay. I believe, yeah, I saw all of this. I believe I entered right here. Okay, so for Crow, yeah, 2021. Sounds about right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I entered around here. Okay. Entered around here and we rode that up all the way up. Bang. Look at that. 26x on spot. Alright, we rode that all the way up. Alright, so that was good. That was one of my nice plays during last cycle. Now look where it is now. It's still all the way down here. Alright? It's still down here. Let's just be more specific and check exactly where it is. Okay, so it's down here. So if all my assumptions are correct, hey, this is my target. All right. Now there are a lot of things that can happen in the meeting and before we get up there. It doesn't mean it's just going to go woo, 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 boom. All right. It may come up. It may get this resistance here might act as a resistance. It may come down a bit. Then it may go up a bit. All right. Then it could even surpass that level. All right. So this is just worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. This is the target. All right. Well, you're looking at a fairly fruitful return. Okay, you're looking at least a 5x on your amount. So obviously it's spot, right? This is not trading, it's spot. So you have to adjust your expectations. So if you put 10K in there, you're getting 50K out of that. All right, not bad. You put 10K, you're getting 50K out of that. Not bad. This is Crow. And, Crow has done some amazing things socially. I'm pretty sure they sponsor the LA Lakers. I'm pretty sure the basketball court is named Crow, crypto.com. I'm pretty sure they have great links with the UFC. But I'm not here to give you all the, fundamental, lowdown. I'm here to give you what the technicals look like. And as far as the technicals go, we have this broken market structure here. All right, we've broken structure on the daily or the monthly or higher time frame. So yes, we could get a retracement and we headed back up. All right. And if we do this, is just going to be my target. Why not? Chuck a bit, 10 grand in there, chuck 20 grand in there, see what happens. That could be life changing money.